Over the course of Geometry Dash's history, impossible levels, or levels perceived to be impossible, have held a special place and interest in the community. Today, especially with the widespread availability of hack clients like MaJackO, impossible levels are a lot more common, with levels like Ton 618 capturing the imagination of the community in regards to pushing the bounds of impossibility. However, back in the early days of the game, when such hacks and botting software were not so widely available, impossible levels, or more accurately, those perceived to be impossible, were much less common. In recent years, such levels like Silent Club, Heaven and Hell, the Hell series, and more formerly impossible levels have been beaten legitimately. One such level, Stereo Demoness by MaJackO, remained unbeaten until 2021, when the unnerfed version of the level fell to a player named KPGDylan. Defeating a 7-year-old infamous impossible level not only takes insane patience, but means a lot for the game's history, showing the progressing skill of the player base over the game's lifespan. Today, I will be interviewing Dylan and talking to him about this momentous achievement and more. Without further ado, enjoy the interview. Dylan was introduced to GD by way of gaming YouTubers like Dashi and CoreyX Kenshin, who played it on their channels, and he finally decided to start playing when he saw his middle school classmate playing it on a tablet, quite similar to my origins as a GD player. Dylan's 3 proudest achievements are his verification of unnerved Stereo Demoness, because of the level's difficulty and legacy as an impossible level, his completion of Infernal Abyss, as it was one of his dream levels to beat at the time, and Ultraviolet, as it was his first really difficult level he conquered. Dylan believes that if a level has enough significance, historical or otherwise, it should be eligible for a rate by RobTop, even if the decoration is not great, as is the case with Stereo Demoness. In other words, if they hold enough significance, older levels like Stereo Demoness deserve to be rated today, or at least have the chance to be rated. Dylan considers the history of the game to be important because it displays how far the game has come in its 8-year life, and where the game began in regards to the literal features of the game, the skill base of the players, and the community as a whole. By comparing this with the present, one can really appreciate how far the game and its players have come. Although Dylan had known about the level before he began his journey to beat it, when he later came across it on the impossible levels list, he decided to test his skill on the level to see how he could do it. Upon reaching arguably one of the most difficult parts of the level, the straight fly at 34%, he fluked it on the first try, convincing him that he had the skill to take on the level, and make GD history in the process. Being the verifier of unnerfed Stereo Demoness means a great deal to Dylan, because he was able to be the one to defeat a level with 7 years of legacy and infamy to its name, and his achievement was truly a piece of GD history. His completion of the level served as a redemption for the level nearly 8 years later. Dylan decided to use the uploaded version of the level rather than his own copy because it was simpler for him, and he was following the lead of Stormy, another player who had a record of 67% on the level. Currently, Dylan is working on another old impossible level called Demon on Track by GW Illusion, which he estimates is around the difficulty of Artificial Ascent. He currently has 97% on the level, which was once rated, then unrated, probably because it was perceived to be impossible. In addition, he is working on Heaven and Hell by Roadboss, another formerly impossible level with brutal spam sections. Players who possess the skill and patience to take on impossible levels of the past are few and far between. Because of this, Dylan's achievements, including the verification of unnerfed Stereo Demoness, are extremely significant, not only for Dylan himself, but for the community as a whole. By beating levels such as these, Dylan and other players help to bring the game's history to life, and show new players what the game was like 8 years ago.